Hey guys, it's Jarek the Air Dragon from RDA. Got another review today, and this one's of a very interesting gun. Marushin has a habit of making interesting, different guns, and this is of the Marushin Cop 357. And as you can tell by the box, it's not the largest gun. So the box is a nice, flashy, normal box that Marushin shipped things in. Let's go ahead and open this box up. First thing you get is an instruction manual with a good parts breakdown and a target inside here. That won't matter too much, just a paper target. And here's the box. Overall, very nice box, holds the gun in place very well. You lift up this piece here and you can see some 8mm BBs. This uses their 8mm BBs that they like to use. And then here's the gun. Now I'm going to start including chronos in my reviews, so let's go ahead and go outside and chrono this, and then let's also shoot it after we chrono it. Alright, feet per second. Going to be using .27 8mm BBs. These are quite a bit bigger than 6. There's the difference between 6 and 8, so don't be expecting feet per second to be really that high. But feet per second, propane, .27 8mm BBs, which is about the equivalent to .2 6mm BBs. .259, 244, 245, 233. Alright, now I'm going to shoot this. How you load it's fairly simple. Pull back on that, lift this up, put 4 in each, close it, and pull the trigger. Every shot's double action, so the trigger's a little bit hard to pull, but you get used to it. Alright, so there you go. On a cold day, this averages about 250 feet per second, and on a warm day, it's going to average somewhere around 280 to 300 feet per second. That's actually really, really good, considering this is firing an 8mm BB. A large BB. That's about the equivalent to a 6mm firing at about 400 feet per second. So there's a lot more mass behind these, and you are going to feel them quite a bit more. Another thing to point out, while I was shooting it, I was using really light 8mm BBs, and that's why they were curving up so badly. If you use a little bit heavier gram BBs, they're going to go a lot straighter than that. Alright, so I've zoomed in on the gun to show you the finer details. This does come in 2 different models, although I only picked up the silver model because, to be frank, with guns like this, most people only care about the silver one, and I kind of agree. I think the silver one looks better, but it's a matter of opinion. This gun can fool you. It does feel like metal, but it is actually very, very nice, very solid ABS plastic. And in fact, actually, there is a strip of metal along the back of the gun. But the gun is a very solid gun, and it isn't blowback, and there's absolutely no need to worry about this breaking at all. So how the gun works is fairly simple and kind of interesting. First, let me show you the sights. It has a rear sight with just kind of 2 knobs there, and then the front post. They do their job. You pull back on the rear sight and lift up, and then it's spring-loaded, and it'll pop open like that. So it's kind of interesting when you pull back on the rear sight. And then you load in 1 BB each, as you saw me do earlier, and each of them have their own hop unit in there. And you close it up, and you pull the trigger. Now, this is a double-action trigger, and you do have to pull it pretty hard. But you get used to it, and it's to be expected. You're lucky that this is semi-automatic, so you really can't complain. There's no other way to do it. This gun does have the Japanese fill valve, whereas you're filling it up with propane or green gas, it kind of overflows. So be notice of that. There's nothing wrong with the gun. That's just how it works. Don't be afraid to use propane or green gas. This gun will work perfectly fine with propane and green gas, like most of Marushin's products. This gun does have quite a few trademarks and some interesting things about it, so let me zoom in a little more and show you that. So here's some of the trades. It says Cop Incorporated, Torrance, California, USA, and then Cop, which is the company that made this gun. Over here it says Caliber 38 Special or 357 Magnum. Then over here is Marushin's own trade, Marushin Industry, made in Japan. While I'm zoomed in further, let me show you how this gun works, because it's very, actually, kind of a cool way. Let me open up this to have to show you, and here is the barrel. I gotta get a better angle of this.
Alright, so I picked up the camera. There's no way to do it without picking up the camera. So here's how it works. Wherever that red dot is where it will fire when you pull the trigger. And when you pull the trigger, it rotates, which is pretty cool. If you don't pull the trigger all the way so that it clicks, it won't rotate. If you pull the trigger again, you got to make it fire, otherwise it will not rotate. And since this gun is double action, you have to pull the trigger kind of hard. So that was something I found kind of interesting, kind of cool and different about this gun.
Alright, back to this angle over here. Something I'd like to point out, the trigger, I made the trigger look harder than it really is to pull. You can pull it over and over. Like I said, it's a hard trigger pull, but that angle I was holding it at made it just kind of harder to pull. So on this side, it says caliber 38 special, 357 Magnum. Now it says that because this can use any of those two rounds. The diameter is the same in the 38 special and the 357 Magnum. So you can fire either a 38 special or a 357 in, say, a 357 Magnum. Now, something else I'd like to point out. 1, 4 barrels is cool. And 2, with how small this gun, you're firing a 357, that is not a small round. That's actually kind of ridiculous to be firing that big of a round out of, say, and there are 357 Derringers. I've actually shot a 357 Derringer before, and they are pretty ridiculous, but if you didn't think 2 barrels was enough for a 357 Derringer, we got one with 4. What are you going to do about that? Alright, so that's everything. It's overall a very simple gun. It's not much more to go over it. I thought it was pretty cool, so if you guys want to buy this gun, there's a link down below in the video information to RDA's website on where you can buy it. If that link doesn't work for you for some odd reason, you can go to reddragonairsoft.net, click on gas guns, and it'll be under category as other. So that has been Red Dragon Airsoft's review of the Marushin Cop 357.